lighting is so important. Not only does it change how a room looks, but how it feels. So it's no surprise that people started 3D printing lamps, creating beautiful designs that would be difficult or even impossible with traditional manufacturing. And it's something I've always wanted to try. Today's video will be the beginning of my journey to designing a lamp. And I'm still very new to CAD, so I'll be sharing what I learned, what inspires me, and how the design evolves over time. And to kick things off, I'd love to share an inspiration and design approach from Virgil Abloh. Virgil was the founder of Off-White and became the first Black artistic director of menswear at Louis Vuitton, redefining luxury fashion by merging street culture, architecture, and art. He had a design philosophy called the 3% approach. It was about how changing something by just 3% was enough to give it a fresh take and a nod to the original design. Now this take has some very polarizing opinions because people say it plagiarizes and steals, but I love using this approach when I'm stuck thinking of a design, and it really helps me get started in the right direction. Now what does this 3% look like in 3D modeling? Let's take this model for an example. There are probably hundreds of dinosaur models, but by simply changing the surface to a knitted texture, it gives it so much more character and personality. Okay. Let's use this approach for today's project. Everyone that's making 3D printed lamps right now are making it out of hard materials such as PLA or PETG. I think a fun twist on this would be to actually make it out of TPU. I feel like TPU will diffuse light a little more organically and feel more like a warm glow rather than something plastic and feel manufactured. And as an added plus, TPU has a higher heat resistance than PLA. I have some leftover filament that Prusha sent over last time from my laptop bag, and I think it's perfect for this project. It's their 95A TPU natural color. It's been surprisingly easy to work with. I haven't tried it once because I'm lazy and I haven't had any issues. So I went ahead and printed a sphere as a test print because I wanted to see if it's possible to print TPU in base mode. This was just a quick test, but I was surprised at how well it worked. I think it being a softer material, it might just give in a little when it's printing, but I strangely kind of like the warping because it makes it feel more organic. Let's see how it lights up. Let's first look at what a PLA lamp looks like. And just so we're clear here, I'm not hating on this design at all. I actually really like this design. That's why I printed it. This is just more of a fun exploration. And as you can see with a PLA lamp, it just diffuses the light kind of, I don't know, soft, kind of evenly. I don't know how to describe it. Actually looking at this on my camera, it actually looks really nice. Okay, let's see what the TPU looks like. That is pretty cool. I don't know if this is going to show up well on the camera, but unlike the PLA, which is very consistent and uniform all the way through, this one is not. You can really see the layer lines and you can see kind of the holes, but to me it's not like in a messy 3D print kind of way. It honestly kind of looks like a paper lamp. It looks more handmade than printed. Let me see if I can do a few close-ups. After seeing how this TPU lamp turned out, I'm even more excited about this project. It really reminds me of a paper lantern. And when you think of paper lanterns, it's hard not to think about one of my favorite collections, the Akari light sculptures. Akari lanterns were created in the early 1950s by Isamu Noguchi, who encountered centuries-old paper lantern tradition while visiting Gifu, Japan. Gifu had been long known for its high-quality washi paper and bamboo lantern craftsmanship. But unfortunately, the industry was struggling due to mass-produced imitations. Noguchi collaborated with Ozeki Workshop to reinterpret the traditional lantern as a modern light sculpture, designed for electric light rather than candles. And the result was the Akari series, a body of work that blended craft, sculpture, and industrial production, while redefining how light exists in everyday life. Now I have mixed feelings about making this lantern, because Gifu struggled with cheap imitations, and now I'm 3D printing it. But I like to reposition this as a learning experience, because I find it helpful when I'm learning CAD to recreate existing designs and to take those learning from those designs and create something of my own, because we're learning and getting inspired. And hopefully this video educates people on the Akari collection and the history behind it, and why it's such a meaningful collection. With that said, let's design it and see how it turns out. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, PCBWay. As much as I love making things in my small shop, there are limits to what I can own and do in-house. Sometimes it's because the industrial machines are just way too big, or my skill sets just aren't there yet. I can lean on PCBWay to fill that gap. They offer PCB manufacturing, CNC machining, 3D printing, and other fabrication services that let you get real production quality parts. And the workflow is super straightforward. You upload your files, choose your materials and specs, and for me, the parts showed up the following week. So whether you're a maker or you're trying to start a new product and need some serious manufacturing capabilities without the overhead costs, I would have to say PCBWay is a solid option, and I've linked the description below. And thanks PCBWay for sponsoring this video and making projects like this possible. Now back to the video. The design is pretty simple. I know that I want to make the Akari 35N, and I like this design because of how geometric it is. I've also never designed anything like this in CAD before, so I thought it'd be a good learning experience. And if you like any of these design files, be sure to subscribe to my Patreon and I'll add in the link below. Now, after we design it, all we have left to do is send it over to the Prusa XL and print it in vase mode. And let's go check it out. Like what? This is on the first try. I honestly expected the print to fail or be a little stringy because of how tall and thin the walls are, but it turned out perfect. And I think it turned out better than our sphere experiment because of how vertical this one is. And I can do this. TPU is so cool. It has a characteristic where it can bounce back after being deformed. I'm really happy with the results up to this point. And if you made it this far, I would really appreciate it if you can like the video and subscribe. It really helps out this channel. Now, I intentionally made this design not to be an exact copy of the Akari 35N. And that's because that's not what this project is about. The main purpose of this was to see if we can take a polygon shape and print it in vase mode using TPU. And I'd say it's more than plausible. Okay, now that moment of truth. Let's see what it looks like with the light. It's also hard because I feel like there's so many small subtleties that I don't think are conveyed over the camera. But I'll do my best and try to take different angles. I also print the same model in PLA, just so you can see a comparison. Now, I'm not saying one is better than the other. There will be use cases where PLA lampshade makes more sense than TPU. But for this design, I'd say the TPU one kind of looks better. But I'm not sure if I'm just being delusional and biased up to this point, so let me know in the comments which one you like more. So the Akari 35N is actually a pendant light. But for this project, I want to add legs just for fun. So let's explore a few options. The first legs that we have are the Noguchi coffee table legs. And I did this purely out just for fun. These table legs are iconic on their own, but I just thought it would be a fun take to combine it with the lamp. Next, we have something fun. This is actually what I ordered from PCBWay. So let's see how it turned out. That is pretty cool. This has some weight to it. These are stainless steel blocks with rounded edges and a hole in the middle. I'm still learning how to use a CNC machine. I struggle to get really smooth edges, so it's really cool to see a stainless steel block with rounded edges. These blocks were actually originally designed for my first lamp concept before I pivoted to the Akari design. Now, I don't know if it matches the aesthetic of this lamp, but I definitely see it for a future project. And I decided to go with stainless steel because it kind of gives that more industrial feel. It also helps the light reflect off of it as well. But the one thing I do wish is I wish I added threading to the middle. That's just an oversight by me. I know they're so simple, but I feel like I could use them for so many projects. So shout out to PCBWay, love these. Okay, but once I decided on it being an Akari lamp, I knew exactly what I wanted to make. Akari table lamps come with a black metal frame. They're usually much taller, but I wanted to put this on my desk, so I decided to make a miniature version of it. It's so cute. I also knew for this project that I want to use a Philips Hue light bulb. And the reason for that is just because our house is pretty deep into the Hue ecosystem. And in order to use this and make this as simple as possible, I actually bought a lamp shade replacement kit on Amazon. I think that's what it's called. And it comes in with some bottom screws that I think I'll be able to attach this very easily. Let's put it together. Alright, let's review this little guy. Obvious flaw here is that half of it is not well lit. And I kind of knew this was going to happen halfway through the design process. And this ultimately just stems from the way the Hue light bulb is made. As much as I love this light bulb, it just wasn't the right light source for this project. But besides that, I'd say this project was a success. Now that I know I love TPU for material for a lampshade, I really want to take advantage of the fact that it's flexible, because that's what sets it apart from PLA and PETG. We can create a light that collapses and expands, or a lampshade that exceeds our build plate size. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do next. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that next video. I just want to say a huge thank you to all my patrons, thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep making stuff.